Namaste viewers, welcome to Gnana channel. Today we'll go through the Sutra, 28th Sutra of Patanjali Yoga Sutras from the Kaivalya Pada. We'll go through the Sutra and then try to understand it. The Sutra is hanam eṣāṁ kleśavat uktam. The sutras are very, very brief and very crisp in its format, but they have very profound and then very deep meaning with them. They carry deep meaning with them. You'll have to connect them with the previous sutras and all those things, that only then we will be able to understand. Let us go through that process, but before we go to the details, I request you to please continue watching my videos till the end and then post your comments in the comment box. Now, this sutra, hanam eṣāṁ kleśavat uktam. Hanam means removal, elimination, or killing, or subduing something. Not subduing, total removal. Eṣāṁ means these. Eṣāṁ. This refers to previous sutras and previous sutras like this, eṣāṁ here refers to the mental impressions or the samskaras or whatever that have been accumulated. That is eṣāṁ kleśavat. Again here eṣāṁ kleśavat, like the kleshas, that is the mental afflictions or mental colorings. It's not actually aberration. It is the way in which we observe things. That is kleśavat uktam, as previously described or stated. Kleśavat uktam eṣāṁ hanam. So this is the meaning of those words. But now you can translate that as the removal of these. That is the new interfering impressions. The impressions which they interfere in the middle happens just like the removal of the kleshas. How it was being removed earlier in the kleshas, afflictions, as described before. So let us dive deep into the sutras now. The other sutras and what exactly they mean. In the earlier sutra, that is the 27th Sutra of the Kaivalya Pada, Patanjali mentioned one thing, that even after achieving the highest level of spiritual clarity, spiritual sadhana, he said that the old impressions, she calls them Samskaras, that is old impressions, they can come back, they can sneak into this thing through the breaks or through the cracks of distraction. See, mind is always, it keeps on wavering here, there, everywhere. Even after a continuous and then a deep meditation and deep focus on a particular thing, there are certain breaks, there are certain things where there are certain distractions in the mind. Small distractions, he calls them as cracks. So there, these old impressions can just get into that. And then it can get in and then corrupt your mind. See how beautifully he analyzes all these things, very systematically, very logically, and like a mathematics. The sutras go one by one, and then so clearly it is mentioned. Now in this sutra, he says, don't worry. He says, don't worry. They may sneak in, they may come between the thoughts, between the continuity. There might be some breaks there that might come in, get in. But don't worry. Use the same method you used earlier, which was being used earlier. That is, the way to remove these new disturbances is the same as how one removed the original kleshas, mental afflictions like ignorance, ego, attachment, aversion, fear, all those things which we removed, you have to use the same method to remove these kleshas also. These are also kleshas which have entered through in the middle of the process. This is what he means. So, what are these kleshas again? If we go back to those, the chapter 2, Sadhana Pada, Panchata Kleshaha. There are 5 kleshas. That is avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, and abhinivesha. These are the 5 kleshas which were disturbing a lot. The yogi, tried to subdue all of them, and then he is on the path. He has got a full control over all these things, and then he is progressing in the path. But still, whenever there is some break, these kleshas sneak in. So now that is the avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, they enter in. How to remove that? He says you have to use the same old method. So these kleshas are avidya, that is ignorance, asmita, egoism. Asmita means I. Asmita, nanna asmita, what is my this thing? That is egoism. Then raga, that is attachment to certain things. Dvesha, aversion to certain things. I want certain things, that I like it. What I dislike, I have an aversion to that. That is dvesha. Abhinivesha is, it's fear of death. So I don't know tomorrow what will happen to me. I may not be there. So that fear is there, that lurking fear, always this fear is there. Fear of death, it is eternal. As long as the jiva is there, that fear of death will be there. Because you always want to live. So you do not want to die. So that fear is always there. That is abhinivesha. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. These things, they color the mind, they change the mind, they keep, the mind gets distorted. And then the truth also, the perception of the truth also gets distorted. So these are all the things that happen. So he says you have to, just like we try to remove these kleshas, we have to do those things also, which small things which enter in the middle of your path, in the middle of your progress. You have to, these small things also get into the, even the very well trained and very well sadhakas also. Now, let's go how they were removed. See, the methods explained in earlier chapters, they include 1. Kriya Yoga. Kriya means tapas, self-discipline. Swadhyaya, that is self-study. And Ishvara Pranidhana, surrender to God. This is one of the methods. You are totally surrendering through a kriya, through a tapas, through a self-discipline, through a self-study. You are totally surrendering to the God. This is Kriya Yoga. Then Vairagya, for the attachment to get detached from that. That is Vairagya. Then Abhyasa, practice. Again, you have to indulge in practice. Then Dhyana, meditation on one particular aspect. Then Viveka Khyati. Viveka Khyati means discriminative awareness, seeing clearly the difference between the self and the mind. What is the self and what is the mind? You have to differentiate. So now, when new mental disturbances arise, there's are like bullet shots coming in the middle of the thing, You have after you have progressed also, they keep coming in. Use the same tools again to remove those things. So this is the sutra. This is what it says. Now, why is this important? Many people assume that once they have had a deep realization, that is samadhi, or what you call self-awareness, they are permanently enlightened. But Patanjali says that's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. Think of it like muddy water. You let it settle and it becomes clear. But if something again stirs it again, it gets cloudy again, it murky again. It gets muddy again. Why this is getting muddy? Because your past tendencies, vasanas, are still, they are hidden deep within you and they can emerge anytime again and again. So they keep on coming. The more you clean it, not exactly the more you clean it, okay, you have cleaned the thing, again they are surfacing. Whatever it is there, the residual things, that vasanas, they emerge and then they make this dirty. So now what you have to do, just as you purified the mind once, you can do it again. It's a continuous process. You have to keep on doing it. Whenever it reappears, you have to continuously keep on purifying the mind. You can do it again. That is what this sutra says. So now, if we look from the scientific and psychological angle, in psychology, this trauma, or subconscious impressions, trauma, what they call, getting traumatized and all those things, it can return even after therapy also. Supposing some therapy is given, so that mental exercises, mental comfort, all those things are given. But maybe through medicines also. But healing is, they can come again, even after therapy also. So healing in the scientific psychological language, it is that healing is a layered process. It's not a one-time event. It is not that once you give a medicine, it goes away and then it never comes back. It keeps on coming back. So it's a layered process. One by one, one by one, one by one. Slowly it gets progressive. In neuroscience, so they say that the brain has a habit loops, so that habit loops, that can refire, that can again, refire even after being dormant. Even if it is dormant, it's a dormant stage. It's not active, but it can come back anytime. But with conscious effort, very conscious effort, we can retain our responses. We can not refrain, it is retrain our responses. You have to retrain it again. See, once a habit, there is a great saying, somebody had a habit of taking tea. So that habit, the explanation given by somebody was that you remove H, but still a bit remains. You take out A, then first word of this A bit remains. You take out that B also, it remains. You take out that I also, T remains. So that is how this dormancy, it keeps on coming, erupting. So we have to keep on training our responses, training our mind, training our keep on training so that it is completely removed. Patanjali recognized this long ago. So he said, See, the habits die hard, So that he recognized long ago itself. So the insight, spiritual aspect here is the sutra removes guilt and fear for seekers. So you always have a guilt. I've been doing so much. I have done so much. I have tried to I have tried to do this much. I have come up to this level, but still this bloody thing is coming and then troubling me. So the sutra, this sutra, it tells, don't be guilty. Don't have that fear. It's normal to stumble again. It is normal to err again. To err is human. It's always there. You will keep on erring a little by little. Falling back is not failure. It's just the next level of purification. So you have to keep on doing this, keep on doing this, keep on doing this. Now, purity is not perfection. You can't just think that, I am totally perfect. It's not perfection. It's a practice. It's a practice of returning to clarity again and again. So beautifully put it. See, purity is not complete. That means I am pure. That means I don't have to do anything. No, it's not like that. It's a practice of returning to clarity again and again and again. So the key message of the sutra is, when old habits or distractions resurface, use the same methods of awareness, detachment, meditation, all those things which were discussed earlier. And the path is cyclical. It is not linear. Once you reach, it's over. No, it's cyclical. It goes on like this, goes on like this. And the most important thing is, progress is not destroyed by setbacks. Progress will be destroyed when you give up. Only when you give up, the progress is destroyed. Otherwise, unless you give up, the progress doesn't get destroyed. So, a real life analogy if you have to take, think of cleaning a house. Think of anything, You clean once, it's beautiful. After a few days, the dust keeps coming every day. The dust keeps accumulating every day. You should not get frustrated. You just keep cleaning. You just keep cleaning. Likewise in the mind also, impressions return. But now how to clean. You use those old methods. So there are a lot of related sutras to connect with. Sutra 130, Sutra obstacles in the path, that is mental distractions, dullness, laziness. That is one sutra which is connecting to this. Tools to remove Kleshas, Sutras 2.1 to 2.11. Uninterrupted practice of discrimination, Viveka Khyati, it is called as second chapter. Then how distractions return even after enlightenment. These are all things, which connects to the each sutra. See, the entire thing is connected. There's a link between each sutra. So now the final thought would be, yoga is not about reaching the truth. Of course, that is one aspect. It's also about returning to the truth. Every time you drift. Like, you are going on a highway. There are a lot of distractions on the highway, There are this side, that side, you may see some hotel, you may see some interesting thing, that side, this side. You may go away, you may go and then go there. Only thing is, you have to come back and then proceed in the highway. If you go and then get lost in the subways or on sideways, you get lost. That is the message here. It's also about returning to the truth every time you drift, every time you are drifting away from the path. Every time you are drifting away from the main road, you have to come back to the main road. So this is a very beautiful encouragement, for you are never truly starting over. Just continuing the journey. Just continuing the journey with more wisdom than before. It's not that you are all have reached somewhere, You are every time you are. It's not restarting. You are just correcting yourself and then moving on further. Yes, with this explanation on this sutra, we conclude this episode. I hope this was quite interesting and then informative. Please like, share, and then subscribe to our channel. Please, after having listened to the sutra, I request you to please put your comments in the comment box. Thank you, viewers.